Hey everybody, this is Niall Bear from Financial Time Traveler, here to give you a response video to all the comments we got for episode 17 of the Financial Time Travelers podcast. That podcast was titled, Gold is the worst investment ever, and this is the response to the comments that we received on Facebook. Alright, so the first comment we had from Bert Lee, and I'm going to read this line for line, perfect punctuation and everything. Let's try it from a perspective not affiliated with market myth. Why is gold valuable? Because someone said so. They said it for a long time. Why? Because it was hard to get. But there's plenty of it in the world in the form of trinkets on the one hand and big impressive blocks hoarded by power elites in the other. What is its use? Trinkets. But also, it's useful as a neutron shield, and it is therefore used in many technologies. The main one being that it's good for protecting electronic components that deflect cosmic rays. Where is that important? Yeah, where is that important? Space technology. So we coat satellite components with it, and we shoot this rare commodity into space, where we will probably not retrieve it easily once that use for it is spent. Where in the physical actual world does gold come from? It comes from the dying of stars, the last of elements that are expelled from collapsing gravitational dynamics. All the gold comes from space. We shoot it back into space. There's less of it here now because, oh well, it's the dance of angels, I believe. I don't care if you don't understand what I just said. It's all true. The dance of angels. Well, I don't really know what he said entirely, but I do know that he was true because he said it was true and doesn't care if you don't understand what he says. But personally, Bert, I don't know what the you just said. All right, let's move on to the next one, shall we? Todd Bennett. Not purchased by me as an investment, but as insurance. To which I responded, insurance against what? And we're still waiting on the response. Todd didn't respond. Matthew Hoffman, this is a cool guy. Shout out to Matthew. He said, why are countries hoarding it if it's going to lose its value? China is buying it like there's no tomorrow. So is Russia. The Shanghai Gold Exchange was set up earlier this year. Is this a system of their complete misunderstanding of the markets? And to you, Matthew, I pretty much said, yes. I do think China and Russia are completely off with their misunderstanding of the markets, which is a big reason why, hey, their markets don't run efficiently. That's why they had huge drops and huge sell-off and extreme volatility in all of their markets. It's why when they opened up the doors for Americans to invest in the Chinese markets this year, none of them moved because there's extreme market manipulation that is happening in China. We don't, on top of that, know how much they're buying. So to say they're buying copious amounts is, I think, deceiving at best. Not by you, but by just the mass media, because they only tell us what we want to know. So if they think that we're buying more, they can tell us that because they're buying it from their own producers that are native to their domestic lands. And so we don't know exactly how much they're producing, how much they're hoarding, whether or not this is just a front for them to launder money, etc., etc. Now, why would they build it? As we referenced during the show, and you can go back to episode 17 of the podcast, was that there is very little broadband penetration and that the little use of technology to store value is being replaced by a commodity. And that's how it's been previously throughout the test of time, is that gold has been a store value because there's limited amounts. It's malleable. You can make sure that certain amounts of people have certain amounts, and you're able to go back and limit exactly and be able to quantify and make sure you have a balanced ledger on what's going on with gold. But moving forward, technology has completely taken its place. If you watch the podcast, we go over this extensively, especially in the second half. But I thought that was a very insightful question by Matthew, and I'd like to get Anton back on to see if we can dig a little bit deeper into why larger countries, especially Russia and China, were doing the buying that Matthew referenced. So thank you so much for that comment, Matthew. William B. Turner. Hey, it has inherent value. I crack myself up sometimes. You got me on that one, William. I was laughing with you, little chuckles. Burton Wendy's. I feel like she put her name. Some people, they put their last name as their first name, the first letter and the last name, and they think you'll never find them if you search for them, but Facebook analytics don't really care. algorithm. If I search first name, last name, first name, still gonna find you. Anyways, Mertens Wendy, that's probably her first name. Now she's gonna contact me and be like, that was my first name, jerk. She said land, cattle, real estate, and commodities. And I don't really know what that means. If you could give me more specifics, that would be great. Sometimes I feel like a lot of Facebookers, when they see the headline, they don't actually watch the video, and I know because I can look at the analytics to see how much they watch. Very few people watch all the way to the end, but they just see the headline. They might read the description, the comments, and just throw something in. I think that's what the case is here. But I will be having Jake Harris on the show soon. He is the co-founder of Harris Bay Real Estate Investments, and one thing that we were talking about when we ran into each other at a Christmas party was that real estate, if you owned it from the beginning of the century to the end of the century, $1 Manhattan property, you would have gained almost the same value that you would have gained holding that gold from 1802 to 2006. So not much value that's inherently presented when you are holding a piece of property for a long duration when you adjust it for inflation. Very interesting, and that goes into land and home ownership being a deceptive tool for being able to build wealth at a faster rate. Maybe it's not that great of a tool to build wealth at a faster rate. Maybe it's more of a cash flow model, and Jake and I will help unpack that, in the upcoming episode. So, although it was short and sweet, Wendy or Mertens, you made a good comment, so thank you for that. Last one, Noel Petit, which, remember Andy Pettit, the pitcher? He pitched a perfect game. He pitched for the Yankees for a long time. Great pitcher. Andy Pettit was a great pitcher. I'm not a Yankees fan, but he was a great pitcher. Anyways, Noel Pettit, when all else collapses, gold shines. It's like insurance against a fickle financial someone. If someone tells you not to invest in something, they usually mean that they will invest and you should not, to keep the price down now. Well, if you're talking to somebody who's able to manipulate the market to the point where they're able to keep it down, they're probably way too wealthy to talk to anybody, and I doubt that that's what the person is doing. Most people don't tell you not to buy so that you can keep the price down unless you're a huge billionaire who's moving the markets. Otherwise, there's trillions of dollars in this market. Very rarely will you be able to meet one person who's able to manipulate any exchange whatsoever, even an institution. So I don't agree with that. As well as, if you look at the charts, and we're going to pull up a cool chart here. I just want to reference it really closely on my phone. I had it up. All right, so during the Great Recession of 2008, gold dropped. It tanked. It was not a good hedge against the fickle financial systems that Noel calls it. When 2008 hit, it was about at $1,400 an ounce. By January 2009, it was below $600 an ounce. So more than a 50% drop in value. So there's your answer right there. Gold is not a good hedge against the fickle financial systems. And we went through that. If you have any other questions, please review episode 17 of the Financial Time Travelers Financial Time Travelers podcast, that gold is the worst investment ever, and you'll learn more why once you watch that whole video. Take it in and then shoot me some responses. We'll go over it. Maybe you could make a response video to me, and we can do this video thing where we're just kind of having this friendly conversation. I would look forward to that. Otherwise, make sure to like, subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Store, YouTube. Find us at financialtimetraveler.com, and remember that decisions today change tomorrow. Right, everybody, all my financial time travelers out there, who's ready to time travel with their goals? Now, I hear a lot of people who come up to me, they ask me questions about how they're going to achieve their goals in this next year, whatever.
Almost 30% or more of the demand. I'm sorry, let me backtrack.
All right.
Half of the world's jewelry demand for gold comes from India and China. Now, India accounts for 13%.
Wow.
No, 50% of all demand for gold.
10, 9, ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The Eagle has landed. Roger, we copy you.